Dear Secretary, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this great honor. Last year, North Macedonia joined NATO, and our flag was simultaneously raised in Shape, Brussels, and Norfolk, marking this historic achievement and symbolically representing the transatlantic bond that the alliance is built upon. Unfortunately, we could not be there. And it was really a sad coincidence that after 30 years of trying to get into the alliance, we were not there for the ceremony. There were actually two excellent officers who were really fortunate to be there. But we have missed the opportunity to shed some tears and to look at our flag and listen to our national anthem with the emotions that are well deserved. So, the COVID pandemic has taken its toll in many ways, but probably it was a big blow to many of us who have worked very hard on moving the country towards NATO for many years, too many years, not to be there. So I thank you very much. I really would like to see this ceremony and the special honor that you have given to us, to me, to our country, but also to my beloved home city, with your presence, with your attention, with your thought, and with your decision. And I'm certain that there will be yet another important roundabout to carry your flag. General Eisenhower, who used to be the first supreme commander of the Allied powers Europe, once said that pessimism never won a battle. And I really lived through many political ordeals by very frequently repeating this sentence. It is very easy to preach doomsday. It is very easy to plan catastrophic scenarios. But it is very important, while having those contingency plans, to really look forward and to really use the enthusiasm and the optimism of the people to work for a better country. And this is what we have done as a country. We have had our share of risks, our shares of real disasters, divisions, political and not only political crises in our country. But if there was one cause that united all of us, in spite of political, ethnic, religious differences, it was the desire to join this big alliance. And this was a desire that was expressed by all members of parliament. I have been in parliament too many years in my life, so I know how difficult it is to have every single member of parliament supporting something. Well, this was the only thing in our history that actually brought everyone together. So when this happened back in 1993, we thought that the road will be easier and that the process will be faster. But I think the big, important part was that we have never given up. And we have kept the enthusiasm, the hard work, the teamwork in order to make it happen. Today's street naming ceremony is really a celebration of our joint success, but it is also a demonstration of endurance and adaptability, the very core attributes that make NATO the strongest politically and military organization of our modern world. The journey of North Macedonia was one of the longest. As I said, it took 3 decades of hard work, determination, and very difficult political choices. Nevertheless, it was a quest that united the country, and it brought the sense of success last year when most of our citizens were in lockdown and really fearing for the future. So probably the only good news in 2020 was that our goal has finally been achieved. And it has made our nation proud, it has made us more ambitious, and it has really showed that if you do your part of the work, NATO will deliver. Several years ago, we have signed a very difficult agreement with Greece that has paved the way towards our NATO membership. It was a difficult choice for leaders both in Greece and in North Macedonia. But the element that made the implementation of the Prespa agreement possible in North Macedonia was that it would deliver NATO and hopefully the future EU membership. And I have to say that in all these difficult political debates afterwards in the implementation, It was the NATO invitation first, and then the NATO membership that has opened the doors for this agreement to be a successful one. So NATO in North Macedonia has shown that it can deliver in difficult times, when we asked for military support back in 2001, and it has delivered now with a more political role, fortunately. And I think that it speaks volumes of the ambition, the will, the power, and the relevance of the alliance, not only in our region, but also worldwide. Let me say that North Macedonia did not fit in the North Atlantic puzzle purely of geopolitical reasons. We have earned our place with thorough and difficult reforms and long years of preparation. The military accession and integration is therefore now at its very end. We have adjusted our defense planning to the NATO defense planning, and we started ambitious projects of army modernization. We were never a passive partner. We were a determined contributor to NATO-led missions and operations, fighting hand in hand with many of your armies in Iraq and Afghanistan. And let me use this moment to thank the many servicemen and servicewomen, more than 3,000 of them from our tiny army of North Macedonia, that have made this quest feasible and successful. We will continue with active promotion of peace and regional stability, now with an even enlarged contribution to the NATO peacekeeping operations in Kosovo, in KFOR. North Macedonia will not be taking the free ride either. We are committed to fair burden sharing, with a strong determination for a stable growth of our defense budget, which has been happening for 4 years in a row, working already on our first capability targets as an ally. When North Macedonia joined NATO, I remember the Secretary General Stoltenberg said, joining NATO is good for North Macedonia, it is good for NATO, it is good for the Western Balkans, and it is good for international peace and security. Now, just over a year after, when the security landscape is changing, tensions from the past re-emerge. And while NATO is engaged in the reflection process for its future, having North Macedonia as an ally means at least 3 things to our part of the world. It means greater stability in the southern flank of NATO. It means deterrence to malign influences, but it also means a very general encouragement for the Western Balkans and all those counting on the open door NATO policy. Today, as we finally see our flag in this NATO format, we hear our anthem playing. We do remember the lost opportunity last year, but we also witness the street naming of our capital, which has been the center part of all our political struggles to get there. And as we are doing all this, I do hope that we will forgive us for some of the emotions that we present today. So thank you very much for mentioning us, sharing these views with us on North Macedonia and on our excellent team. But it was these emotions of optimism, of enthusiasm, of confidence and openness, the team spirit, and a genuine belief in the values that have created this organization and this alliance. These emotions were the emotions that led us here. So thank you very much for not losing faith, even during the days when we have lost some of ours. And thank you for staying with us in good and in bad times. The alliance is stronger, and we believe that as a 30th member of the alliance, we can show that success happens even in most difficult times. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
The Honor Guard, our old working team to my right, 1 o'clock, and our distinguished band, and most importantly to the wonderful citizens that represent NATO, that represent SHAPE, that represent North Macedonia, and represent all that is good about the freedom that we generate. I again want to take this opportunity to remind and thank everybody for the discipline that they continue to display in the eyes of COVID-19. We have this ceremony today. We're not in mask. We're a little bit closer, and we're only allowed to do this because of the great vigilance that we've displayed over the course of the last 2 years that put us in this position. And I commend all of you for that. and ask all of us to maintain that rock solid vigilance to ensure that we never allow this pandemic to transform into a security crisis. We're here for a very, very great cause. That is to put a name on a symbol that represents far more than just a name on a symbol. And in just a few minutes, we'll have the opportunity to unveil Ron Skopje. And we get to do so at a time that means so much to all of us, to mark the entrant of the 30th nation that has been here for so very, very long, which is just a little bit over a year, but it seems for so very, very long because of the power and the values that North Macedonia brings to this great alliance. I have to tell one naming story before we commence, and that's this. The names on the roads and the names that go around the avenues and the roundabouts throughout SHAPE headquarters, 12 of them are currently named after capitals, and we'll soon name yours after your largest city and your great capital that delivers so much peace. But we also have some of the names for former SACEURs. And I must tell you, at the 2-year point after you've served as SACEUR, some people will walk up to you and say, General Walters, are you thinking about where you would like to put your name on one of our streets or one of our roundabouts? And I was tremendously honored. And of course, the first thing that I said was, how about the roundabout across from the gymnasium? Because that's the best spot, and that's where I think I'd like to have my name. And the first thing that they told me approximately 6 months ago is, oh no, that is going to be for Ron Skopje. So we have a great location for your great capital. Let me close with this. These gatherings allow us the opportunity to slow down for just a little bit and talk about what is actually important. And that is our 30 great nations, our 30 great militaries, our 30 great defense apparati that wake up every morning and do the right thing from a value system standpoint and work very, very hard on delivering peace. And as many of you know, one of our favorite NATO defense ministers is Madam Minister. And just having her here speaks volumes to the character of North Macedonia, to her character. And she just does things in a way that makes all of us proud to serve in NATO. She woke up at 2 o'clock this morning and flew into here with her team, which is something that she does often, but it speaks volumes about how much she cares about us, how much she cares about NATO, how much she cares about freedom. And we had the great opportunity to say hello to 30 plus mil reps before we started this ceremony. And Madam Minister, you stopped and you said hello and you shook hands and you greeted each and every one of our mil reps. And I know this, each and every one of our mil reps will have an impression of you for the rest of their lives. And that's a defense minister that truly cares about people and generating peace. So, Madam Minister, it is so great to have you here, and so great for all of us to be part of this ceremony to talk about the things that matter most, and that is the great value system that the 30 nations share in NATO and the peace that we continue to attempt to generate. Thank you very much.